Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back into my channel. So in this lab, we're going to configure, we're going to create a VPN gateway between two virtual networks. So you can either create this between two virtual networks or between two virtual network and an on-premise network. But if you were to do that, you have to configure your on-premise devices. And how you can do that completely depends on what on-premises you have. If it's a Juniper or Cisco, depends on the vendor, how that's set up. So we're just going to do it between two virtual networks. The first thing I'm going to do is to create my virtual networks within the virtual machine. So first and foremost, one quick second, please. So first and foremost, I'm gonna just go ahead and click virtual machine and create. Now, I'm going to create a new resource group. So I'm gonna name this RG1, hit OK. I will create a VM, call this VM1. I can leave this on the region of Europe, UK South. Yes. And availability options, I can leave this as default. And availability zone, I can leave this too. Mm, let's make this data. Yes. Let's make a name for it. Say call. See if we can find some. Yep, some. Now make sure that the RDP is on allowed. Now instead of review and create, I'm gonna go here and make a new IP for that. So I'm going to create VNet here within this PM. So let's make this name VNet1, right? And let's erase this IP address and give it an IP. Let's say if I will give this IP as 192.1 .0.0.0/8, and well, we give it a subnet name of subnet1. Give the subnet mask an IP of 192.1.0/24. Hit OK. And we could leave everything else as default. Let's just review and create. says it failed validation. So let's start over again and see what is wrong with this. Let's go home. Just making sure that we have everything. Okay, let's hit create. Let's go ahead and create new resource group or G1. Okay, call this VM1 and leave this on Europe, not Europe, whatever. Standard security type, put this right there. Let's make a username for it and a password, username and a password. Leave this, make sure this is open. I'll go up and put on, now create a virtual network, call this VNet1 and give this VNet1 an IP address. How about we delete this first just to avoid confusion? So there's an IP of 192.0.0.0/8 and give it a subnet name, subnet1, and give it an IP of 192.168.1.0/24. Okay, I'll hit OK. And here we should be okay. So let's just review and create and see how it looks now. Okay, see if it's passed the validation. Then we can create. Okay, so let's create. What is wrong with this? Let's go home and see if it's created. Let's go on virtual machine. Say what's it been done? Let's start again. Let's call it RG4. Give it a name and VM1, or let's call it VM4. Let's give it whatever region it is right now. It don't matter. Bang, bang, bang. Let's give it a username, password. Then go here, create a VNet for it, create new. So call this VNet1, delete this IP, raise this, 192.0.0.0/it, right? Then this, call it subnet1. It's 192.168.1.0/24. Hit OK. Now let's create this. See if it passed validation this time. Okay. Submitting your deployment. So now deployment is in progress. So let's wait and see if this will create this time. Okay, it looks like it's gonna work this time. So I apologize, it takes forever. Okay, so we're gonna click on create another VM. Now let's go ahead and make this be RG5. Let's make this, let's call this VM5. And this is now on Canada Central, so they're on different locations. Now for username, I can call this call, and I got a password. Uh, Bengal. I'm gonna make sure that I leave it on RDP. Now let's come to the network. I can leave it on the 10.10/24 network since they're on the different networks since the first one is 192. So yes, go ahead and hit that. Now let's go ahead and review and create. It passed the validation, so let's go ahead and now, by the way, let me just erase whatever I have here. Oh, sorry. Let me just erase here whatever I have as um burn keys, SSH. So let's just erase this just to avoid confusion. Okay, so while this is doing that, it's just gonna take a while before it's finished. All right, it might take some time, and I apologize for that. Okay, so all right, so it is finished. Now we could just go home, yeah, virtual machine, and now how about we erase this virtual machine just to avoid confusion? This one here. Type yes, and we erase this one. Because that was one of those that that was acting up earlier. So, by the way, let me just click on this one here. So I can, on VM4, I can click connect an RDP. I'm just gonna go ahead and download the RDP file. Keep open. Just gonna go to that file and click connect. Choice different network. Now, just gonna enter my credential and let's just log in. Log into the machine. All right, so we're gonna log in right into the machine. There we go. So that completely worked. Now, if I were to go back to the Azure portal and click on VM5, and let's scroll to, no, let's go back As a matter of fact, let's go back like that. Let's click on this and let's scroll down to find out the private IP address. So you could tell that the private IP address is 10.0.0.4. So let's just copy that. Let's copy. Let's go back to the server. Let's make this big. Let's make this big. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna attempt to remote desktop into this server. I was trying to make this big. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit run. And I'm gonna try to remote desktop into the other server. So let's put MSTSC. Let's try to remote desktop into the other one. I'm gonna paste the IP address and see if I can connect. Now it's not gonna work because the reason being we have not configured the VPN gateway yet. So that connection should fail. So watch. So yeah, it's not working. As expected, that failed. So what I need to do now is to create virtual network gateway so we can link these two VNets together so they can have full communication. So let's go ahead and try that. Just minimize this for one moment. Uh, so so what I need to do here is, oh, so we probably already have VNet. Okay, so let's just go on VNet. Um, Now let's try to erase this. That was on the, let's try to erase this just to avoid confusion. Let's try to see. This one should not be here. But hold. Yes. So let's check this. So we are a West Europe and we are a Central, I mean Canada Central. So we should, now Okay. So now we should type in create virtual network. So virtual network gateway. So this is defaulted as the East US. One is in the central Canada. Um, it was East Canada or what? How was it? What was it? What was on the West Europe? Canada Central, I guess. One was, you should double check to make sure. So let's check those two. So one on West Europe and one is Canada Central. So West Europe and Canada Central. Okay. So we're gonna hit create. So we can name this. Let's name this VNet. So where is this? So VNet 1 G of GW. So the region that we should put that let's put this on Canada Central. So you can leave these VPN type as VPN. I'm going to leave these two as they already are. Now in the generations, this is generation 2. Now if we go on virtual network, let's see, let's grab this. Also the Canada Central is this. Let's grab this. Is it not Europe? I forget. Let's see, just a second. So one is on the West Europe. So let's grab this, the West Europe first. Okay. And there we go. So then you could, now if you go back to the top, you would see that it says RG4 derived from virtual network resource group. So the gateway type is the traditional. You could use like Express Route if you want to, depends on your provider. I'm just gonna create a VPN that's going across any type of connection. Now the type is route-based, policy-based, but most often you would use the route-based. Now, if you go here, you would see it says that the type of VPN you choose depends on the make and model of your VPN devices and the kind of VPN connection you intended to create. So choose a route-based gateway if you intend to use a site-to-site inter-virtual network. So on multiple site-to-site connection, if you are creating a VPN type gateway to coexist with an express route gateway. So yeah, so I could just choose the route-based. Now, now let's come to the gateway subnet range. I'm not gonna change anything on this queue generation one, generation gateway. Now the subnet is already filled in for us. Now the public IP address, I can make, I could name it RTS VPN 1. So good. Um, on the availability zone, we could just leave this. Now the second one, just make it be like that too. Now for the BGP, for the BGP route, so in Azure, if your gateway here can pick up all of these BGP routes you have in your environment. So let's say in your environment, if your environment is Cisco, you are using this BGP protocol, so you can have that protocol advertised to Azure. So we're not going to just, we're just going to leave both of those disabled, whether if um, these things, so we're gonna leave this disabled. Uh, Let's just review and create. Oh, it's failed the validation. I'm not sure why. Let's tag name. Let's call it um, VPN. Let's give it a value of what? Gateway. Not sure if it's gonna take it anyway, but we can start over again. Let's review and create and see. Um, let's start it over again. Let's start it over. Let's hit create. Let's name. Let's give it a name of what? Let's call it V. net 1 GW. And let's put it on what? Europe Central. I mean Europe, West Europe, was it? West Europe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's West Europe. And the virtual network should be this one here. And it's giving us this automatically, like we were saying. So on the name, let's give it a public IP address name. Let's call it VPN. Let's call it VNet 1 GW PIP. And the value must not be empty. So let's give it a value of 1. Let's give this a value of 1 too. Then after, I'm gonna leave all the rest. Now I'm gonna create a new tag. So it's just why it says validate field requires info. Require information is missing or not valid. So what information it require here? Let's just review again. Let's make a name for it. SG. So what do we have here on tags? VPN. Let's call this gateway. Let's review and create. Okay, let's go ahead and hit create. So this says deployment is in progress, so it's good. Might take some time before it come up. Spare with me, please. Choice says the deployment is in progress. I need to create another VPN going the other direction. So while it's doing that, so VPN1 is on the list. So I'm gonna hit So now think of this like a site-to-site VPN. You have a VPN gateway on one side and you have a VPN gateway on the other side. So no different than connecting on-premises to Azure or to on-premises network or to virtual network. So the same concept. So um, just have to so I just have to make a name just create another name for that. So let's call this VNet 2GW. Okay, and the second region was Canada Central. So let's go ahead and make this Canada Central. It was Canada Central. So then everything else should be as default. And you see the Canada Central, that was the virtual network for it. So it's already given us the resource scope automatically. Now we could give it a public, um, you could give it a public a public IP address name. Let's call it VNet 2GW. So let's call it VNet 2GW PIP. Since the first one was VNet 1, we're gonna call this VNet 2. So it don't matter what name you give to that. Now let's put this on zone. You can call this any name like VPN, VNet, or any name that you want to give that. I'm talking about there. Here, you could call this name like any name that you want to give it, like VPN or VNet, whatever. Now let's go ahead and just make this. Now guys, let's make this name VPN2, and let's call this gateway just to avoid it doesn't pass the validation. So let's go ahead and next and validate. So let's cross our finger. Let's go back and see where's the mistake lies. Is it on time? Okay. So let's call this let's call this VNet2 and hit. Hopefully it passes it. Doesn't. So what else are we doing? Let's see. Okay, so the public name. So let's call this VNet2. So GW2. Okay. And hopefully it works now. So one in final. So it's past the validation. And let's just create it. So now it might take a long time to finish, and I apologize for that. So this might take at least about 45 minutes to create. It takes a long time. You might trim that out of the video, but it takes a lot of time. So just know that if you've done that, in your own environment, if it takes forever, it's not abnormal. It takes forever. So just bear with me. Success deployment is in progress. So hopefully it doesn't take too long, so you wouldn't have to trim that out of the video. So yeah, guys, it takes time. So bear with me, please. So as you can tell, guys, this is this is a very long process. So I wonder if I should just cut this video short and make another one where I will show you the rest of the process. Yeah, so let me cut this video and making another video that will show you the rest of the process.